Something inside Buckingham Palace has just been revealed, and no one was prepared for it. Princess Anne, known for her composure and loyalty, and having served for decades as the steadfast backbone of the royal family, reportedly confronted the situation head-on and brought the truth to light. The remarks Camilla made about Catherine were already damaging, but Anne's response to that information changed the dynamics of the British royal family forever. The Trump state visit, snub that changed everything forever. It started with a single hand gesture, one quick, subtle sweep of Camilla's hand. And in that single moment, on September 17th, 2025, in front of the world's cameras, in front of the American president and first lady, in front of millions watching live, the tension that had been quietly building inside the royal family for over a year was suddenly on full display. Here's what happened. Prince William and Princess Catherine had greeted President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump on the grounds of Windsor Castle. A warm welcome, protocol perfect. And then they walked the Trumps over to meet King Charles and Queen Camilla outside Victoria House. Then the conversation split, as it usually does. Trump went with Charles and William. Melania moved toward the women. And Catherine, naturally, effortlessly, struck up a lively, warm, animated conversation with the First Lady. Body language experts watching the footage would later note how in sync the two women appeared. Their responses mirrored each other. Real chemistry, the kind of connection that cameras cannot fake. And that's when it happened. Camilla looked over. She took in the scene. Catherine and Melania, clearly engaged, clearly clicking. And then, according to everyone watching, Camilla waved her hand in a gesture that most people, including body language expert Judy James, speaking to the Daily Mail, described as pulling rank and appearing to shoo Kate away. Catherine obliged. She stepped back. She drifted toward William and the men's conversation without saying a word. But those few seconds went viral. Instantly, the clip spread across every social media platform within hours. Millions of people watched it on a loop, and the reactions ranged from stunned to absolutely furious. "That's so rude from Queen Camilla," one person wrote on X. "She's just a rude, jealous shrew to her daughter-in-law." Others defended Camilla, insisting the gesture was simply about logistics. The carriage procession was about to begin and space needed to be cleared. Some experts agreed, others absolutely did not. But here's the thing, the incident wouldn't have carried the weight it did if it existed in isolation. It landed so hard because it confirmed what palace insiders had been quietly whispering for months. According to reporting from OK magazine, senior aides working closely with both women described the relationship between Camilla and Catherine as increasingly icy and impossible to ignore. One insider put it plainly, "What's happening now feels like the fiercest clash we've seen between two senior royal women in years." Think about what that means, the fiercest clash in years. Inside a family that includes the battles with Harry and Meghan, inside a family that has weathered divorces, scandals, a global pandemic, and two cancer diagnoses at the same time. And this, two women who are supposed to be on the same team, is being called the fiercest clash. Cosmopolitan reported that palace aides privately described the situation as a power shift, and a source who spoke to Us Weekly made it even clearer. The pair have always had a tense relationship, and that tension was now being openly felt at engagements, in planning meetings, and in the corridors of the palace itself. The Trump state visit didn't create the problem. It just made sure the whole world finally saw it. And once that happened, once the clip existed, once the commentary exploded, once tabloids on both sides of the Atlantic had their headline, something shifted inside the palace. Something that couldn't easily be shifted back, because someone else had been watching too. Someone with decades of experience reading exactly this kind of royal tension. Someone who knew precisely what it meant and what it could cost Catherine if nothing were done. Princess Anne was paying very close attention. What Camilla said behind Catherine's back that broke her. Before we get to what Anne did, we need to understand what she was reacting to, because the public moments, the shooing gesture, the frosty glances, the carefully choreographed distance at joint engagements, those were just the visible surface of something much deeper, something that had apparently been building behind closed doors, in private conversations, in moments that were never supposed to reach Catherine's ears. And yet they did. A palace insider talked to Woman's Day, a magazine known for accurate royal stories. They revealed that Camilla made private and hurtful comments about Catherine, which circulated among palace staff. These comments seemed like concern but were quite cutting. This behavior isn't new. Years ago, Camilla also criticized Catherine regarding spending and maternity leave, which affected Catherine during sensitive times. Despite this, Catherine tried to remain graceful and let it go. As Catherine's popularity grew, Camilla's comments reportedly changed. When Catherine returned to royal duties in 2025 after cancer treatment, she was quieter and more purposeful. She focused on what mattered and pushed for tighter standards for royal engagements, ensuring each event had real charitable impact. An insider said both William and Catherine wanted accountability for their work. Camilla, however, was not happy about these changes. A significant issue arose when royal editor Ingrid Seward praised Catherine's performance at a state banquet, calling her a future queen. This comment upset Camilla, who reportedly showed frustration at being overshadowed. Insiders claim that Camilla's private comments questioned Catherine's judgment, especially regarding the situation with Harry. Catherine supported William's effort to reconcile with his brother, while Camilla opposed it. Sources said Camilla dismissed Catherine's approach as overly idealistic and risky. Additionally, a Times Magazine article titled "Arise Queen Kate" painted a positive picture of Catherine's future reign. This article made Camilla and other senior royals feel sidelined. A royal source expressed concern about how quickly people around Catherine were discussing her future. They worried this narrative might overshadow Camilla, who was currently fulfilling her role. Catherine's supporters say she did not commission the article. The narrative about her grew from the public's interest in her. However, the situation turned personal. Rumors about Catherine's illness, visibility, and relationship with the public reached her ears. But instead of warmth, they were filled with bitterness and insecurity. When Catherine learned about these comments, she reportedly broke down. She had managed to cope with cancer, chemotherapy, and her absence from public life amid rumors. Returning to duty with composure was a challenge, and hearing negative things said about her hurt deeply. Anne steps forward, the truth that rocked the palace. Princess Anne is not someone who acts on impulse or gets involved in conflicts when she can avoid them. At 75 years old, and after completing 478 official engagements in 2025, more than any other working royal except the king, she has seen a lot. She does not take action unless she believes it is necessary. When Princess Anne decides to step forward, the palace pays attention. Recently, she took that step. Sources close to the royal family say it was Princess Anne who directly addressed the situation, not through public statements but in her usual style. Straightforward, private, and clear. While palace insiders have not fully detailed what she said, reports provide a general sense of her intervention. First, Anne made her feelings about Catherine clear. She spoke not only to Catherine, whom she has been watching over, but also to those at the palace who needed to be informed. Anne emphasized that Catherine, her nephew's wife, the mother of the future king, and a beloved public figure, should not be treated as a subordinate within the institution she has served so loyally. The Daily Mail noted that Princess Anne is one of Prince William's most trusted advisors, known for her direct and practical approach, similar to her late mother, the Queen. Second, Anne reportedly pointed out specific comments made about Catherine. She highlighted the damage these comments had caused and stressed that such behavior would have consequences within the family she has dedicated her life to for over 50 years. New Idea reported that Anne had warned William about the risks of letting palace tensions, including those with Camilla, go unchecked. She expressed concern for Kate and the children, telling William that now's not the time to make enemies. What happened next raised eyebrows even more. Anne took the issues directly to those involved and addressed them clearly, showing the confidence that comes from her experience, including leading a large military procession at the king's coronation. People describe Anne as someone who enjoys interacting with others and has a straightforward attitude. This means she speaks her mind without trying to make others comfortable. She says what needs to be said. What needed to be said was said, and the effects inside the palace were immediate. Staff accustomed to a certain way of doing things suddenly noticed a change in the atmosphere. A shift was happening, driven not by official announcements, but by Princess Anne's firm decision that enough was enough. Anne is a great comfort, a source told Marie Claire, referring to her support for William and Catherine. In this moment, her role was not just ceremonial. It was protective and decisive. It made it clear to some within the palace that Princess Anne had taken a stand. the secret alliance, why Anne is fighting for Catherine. To understand why Princess Anne has acted as she has, it helps to know what she thinks of Catherine and what matters to the monarchy. Anne has done more official royal engagements than almost anyone else for many years. She knows better than most what this role demands personally. It means sacrificing privacy, facing constant duty, and showing up regardless of personal issues. Catherine has faced these challenges too. She stepped back from public life for cancer treatment and returned to an intense media environment that was both supportive and overwhelming. She kept smiling at public events, even while recovering from health issues that would make many people withdraw completely. Throughout the past year, she handled pressures that would break someone with less strength. Anne, who has dedicated her life to the royal family, understands this. In January 2026, a YouGov poll showed that Catherine holds a 74% approval rating among the British public. Anne is close behind at 70%, while the king has a 60% rating. Camilla is significantly lower at 42%. These ratings matter to everyone in the palace thinking about the monarchy's future, and Anne is always considering its long-term health. That's why sources say Anne quietly encourages Catherine and William to stay close to their family, especially with Zara and Mike Tyndall, who live a more relaxed royal life away from palace politics. She insists Zara keeps an eye on them, a source told New Idea, explaining that Anne wants a strong support network around William and Catherine during tough times. This concern is also very personal for Anne. She witnessed Princess Diana's struggles, including her isolation, and the challenges within the royal family that led to tragic outcomes. Every senior royal, including Anne, remembers the lessons from Diana's story. Anne does not want history to repeat itself. Sources suggest that Anne sees troubling signs in Catherine's situation. She notices private undermining, growing isolation, and a gap between Catherine's strong public support and her allegedly poor treatment in private. Catherine has tried to handle everything with her usual grace. She has not publicly responded to ongoing tensions or spoken against Camilla. She has continued to show up, smile, and work hard, avoiding involvement in any conflict. However, when criticism becomes personal, a supportive friend becomes essential. It seems that Princess Anne has chosen to be that friend. Camilla's "I'm the Queen, not Kate" fury tears the firm apart. Let's get straight to the point. This is about power and legacy and an anxiety that comes from realizing the attention has shifted away. During the Trump state visit, Camilla reportedly felt anger not just at the shoeing incident or the viral clip, but at the overall events of that day. She saw Trump and Melania light up when Catherine entered the room. She heard the comments and noticed the cameras following Catherine. The media praised how Catherine literally held court like the queen she'll soon be. According to a source from Woman's Day, the actual queen, Camilla, was not thrilled and showed her frustration at being overshadowed. There were complaints behind the scenes. Ingrid Seward added fuel to the fire by stating, "Kate is definitely showing traits of being a remarkable future queen." This comment allegedly made Camilla furious. Those close to her say her private response was simple. She is the queen now. She has worked hard for this title, enduring public scorn and comparisons to Diana. Now at 78, after finally earning the crown, she feels outshone by a younger woman who seems to excel effortlessly. It's frustrating for Camilla. She wants her husband to shine as king, but Kate and William steal the spotlight, noted the insider. Camilla is tired of being overshadowed. Sources say this private tension has grown intense. Some insiders describe the situation as nuclear and mention open warfare between the two women. They have to carefully manage seating, camera angles, and public appearances to hide their conflicts. Kate reportedly will not back down from this bitter feud with a territorial Camilla, confirmed one source. Camilla's return from a successful U.S. tour with King Charles complicated matters. She came back feeling confident and reassured of her standing. Sources say this confidence turned into a pointed message towards Catherine. "We're not going anywhere." Think about that. The Queen of England sends a private message to her daughter-in-law that is more a warning than a call for unity. Then Anne learned about this, and that moment marked a shift inside the palace. Tension became something more serious. This situation will shape the future of the monarchy, not through public announcements, but by the ongoing changes in loyalty and power that unfold privately. Insiders now publicly acknowledge that the royal family is facing significant cracks. The palace is cracking. What happens next will shock you. You are watching the early changes in the British monarchy as it prepares for the next reign. Everything happening now, from reported comments to private conversations, is part of the negotiation about what the monarchy will look like when William and Catherine become king and queen. On one side is Catherine. She has a 74% approval rating, the highest of any working royal except Prince William. After returning from cancer treatment, she started changing the focus of the monarchy. Insiders say she is now stronger, quieter, and more purposeful. Instead of fighting back, she has chosen to let her work speak for itself. On the other side is Camilla. She has waited a lifetime for her role and has faced public hatred and harsh media coverage to get here. She believes she deserves the respect that comes with the crown. Yet she now sees the world's attention shifting towards Catherine, who will eventually replace her. In between them is Princess Anne. She harbors no personal grudges and has served the monarchy during many challenges. Through the Diana years, Charles and Camilla's journey to acceptance, and Harry and Meghan's departure, among other things. Anne is respected by the public and palace staff alike. Anne has reportedly decided that the treatment of Catherine goes too far. When Anne speaks up, the institution pays attention. The British monarchy's survival relies on continuity and public support for the next generation. The data shows that support strongly favors Catherine, with royal expert Katie Nicholl stating that she is the monarchy's greatest asset and that both the king and queen adore her. The insiders may privately contest the queen's feelings toward Catherine, but the public stance makes clear that harming Catherine hurts the monarchy. Anyone in the palace who thinks long-term knows this is true. What happens next is therefore not just personal. It is strategic. Will Camilla reduce her reported behavior? Will her territorial approach change now that Anne has stepped in? Will Catherine maintain her cool under pressure as she has in the past? As King Charles's health remains a concern in discussions of the transition, the answers to these questions are now being shaped. Decisions about seating, speaking roles, and headlines are all taking place behind closed doors. One clear thing is that Catherine did not react as Camilla may have expected. She had an ally, Princess Anne. Inside the palace, this support is more significant than outsiders might realize. The palace has not officially commented on these internal dynamics and likely won't. This is typical for the institution. However, the current tension is real, the stakes are high, and Anne's intervention has changed the atmosphere in the palace. If this story develops, as it seems likely to do, we will be here to keep you updated. If you've read this far, share your thoughts below. What do you think will happen next?